Okay, so our next episode of Super Powered Elf, we are taking this Surron and stripping it down and putting the power plant into this Elf. We've already got the rear suspension setup in this Elf, and we've got the setup for the motor. But what we are missing are all of the controls, the control unit, the battery power. So today we're going to be stripping this down, figuring out all the different components, and laying them out so we can figure out the real difference in this from an average e-bike. And let's get started. All right, first thing we got to do is test this thing out, make sure it works with the battery. Okay, let's take this thing apart. You can see down here the cables from the motor come off right here. 1, 2, 3, and they go up right there and plug into the controller right there. And this boot obviously has a bunch of connectors in it. I will have to pull. Okay, so the control unit is mounted to the front by the top bolts, and these bolts on the side, sort of. I don't know if it looks like those are cut. So I don't know if yours will be, but once you drop that down, you can disconnect the connectors up here that go to your throttle and to the battery through the harness, and the key probably is another connector. And then we will go ahead and start pulling these battery cables and getting this loose. So this circuit breaker, which goes through the positive cord, was bolted with these really tiny, probably like M3s or something like that. And only one of all 4 of these was actually still had the nut. So if you have one of these bikes, I'd check this and make sure this is on there tight, because this one was not. So here we've got the power cable. This is going to the control unit after the circuit breaker, and you can see there's a power wire tapped out of here that gives the rest of the harness positive and negative. And while looking at that, I noticed that this harness is pinched. You see that? This harness is actually pinched underneath this bracket. See that? Okay, I got the bracket off, but the weird thing is that it's not connected to anything. This is a plug. I don't know if it's an unused plug, but why wasn't this connected to anything? What is this? Okay, it looks like there's also some sort of unit underneath this little tray here. So we get that, unplug that down here. These are the connectors that were inside of that boot. So we'll unplug these, One of them goes to the motor, one goes to that thing. I don't know what the other one goes to. So the key goes down to the yellow, to the red, white, and red, black wire, and the charge port USB, the green is negative, which I believe is right there, and then the black is on the positive terminal. So these white connectors, these three connectors in this little boot here, this one, black and green, this one goes to the headlight. So black and green seems to consistently be positive 12 volts and negative, or whatever the voltage is here. Okay, so this is what else I've figured out. These two connectors here, one of them goes up to the horn and the programming switch, the speed switch, the sport mode switch, and the other one is the feed for the display unit, which has your miles per hour. That's these two connectors here, and then we go down here, and the other one, so we had these three down here. One of them was the motor connector, the other one was the connector for this control unit, whatever it is, probably a rectifier or something for the motor or whatever it is. Then the other one is your throttle control unit, which actually goes all the way up here and goes over to your throttle. So down here we've got the one control unit, one motor, one throttle. The throttle is the triangle, 3-wire. So that's most of it. Then we've got our last connectors right here for the control unit that actually goes to probably processes the information between a lot of these things and sends this data out for brake lights, probably the speed, the readout and everything is calculated in here probably and sent through these connectors. So that's these three connectors here. And that's most of it. So let's get this harness out, which is the main part we need. Harness, because we actually have a secondary motor and control unit brain here. So all we really need is this unit, the harness, and I don't even think we need the key. But definitely the harness and that control unit. Okay, we've got all of our components we need here. I'm going to try to go through it real quick. We've got our battery. Power comes in through this cable, circuit breaker in the positive cable, goes down here where it feeds the control unit. Then power is jumped off of here to this 2-wire connector, which feeds this harness, this body harness with this red and green connector. At the bottom of this harness is a couple of connectors. This one here goes to the motor. This 4 connector here goes to this control unit here. The other one is your throttle. I don't know what this one is here. This one's your throttle right here. Then we come up the harness. These 3 connectors here go to the 3 connectors on the control unit right there. And as we go up, these right here are your sport switch and the display unit for your miles per hour. And as we go up here, this connector here is the other connector that goes into the battery, the information cable for the battery for power management. As we go down here, this 2-wire connector is your key, and these 2 wires are your charge port right there. Then you got these connectors here. I believe these are all lights because one of them is definitely your headlight. They're all the same color, so it's just positive and negative ground. This is a fuse, I believe, and that explains most of that harness. These 3 wires obviously go into the 3 colors here. They're labeled, and that's pretty much the whole layout. So now we can go ahead and start putting these components that were in that bike into this ELF e-bike.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Check out some of my other videos on this project. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll catch you guys next time.